OpenAI is sounding the alarm on an emerging Chinese startup that it says is catching up quickly and an even bigger threat to the U.S. AI dominance than DeepSeek. Deirdre Bosa has the details. I've been waiting for this one all show, Dee. Tell me about it.
I was hoping you were. Okay, so the startup is called Zhipu AI. It's still under the radar, but OpenAI is calling it a frontline threat in China's push to dominate AI. Now, the company is offering turnkey AI infrastructure across Southeast Asia, Middle East, Africa, even the UK. These are places where Washington is competing to bring American AI to in its effort to entrench American standards and counter Beijing's influence. And so Zhipu is kind of like Huawei 2.0, but for AI. So less about performance, more about getting lock-in, just like Huawei did with telco equipment. Also like Huawei, Zhipu has close ties to Beijing. OpenAI, in its blog post, says the startup has over $1.4 billion in state funding, close ties to Premier Li Qiang, and collaboration with China's military. It is also on the U.S. entity list, banned for national security reasons. Now, Zhipu is part of a new wave of Chinese AI tigers, companies like DeepSeek, O1.ai, and Moonshot that Beijing is pushing to compete globally, not just domestically. And while OpenAI warns about Chinese infrastructure, the bigger risk here is that China is already leveraging something that is much, much harder to stop: open source models. They're already good enough to build products, apps, even national AI systems, and critically, they are free. So anyone, anywhere can simply download and use them, and unlike hardware like NVIDIA GPUs, you cannot ban a zip file. Once they're online, they spread very quickly. China knows this, and it's doubling down through startups like Zhipu and DeepSeek. Meanwhile, Western companies, guys, they're moving in the opposite direction. OpenAI has never open sourced its top models, and even Meta, once the West's biggest open source advocate, this morning reportedly considering de-investing in Llama, its open source model, in favor of some of the closed source ones. Now, this is a shift with echoes of the early internet, a platform that was born from U.S. investment and control. This time, though, with AI where the stakes arguably could be higher, the core tech layer of AI models, foundational layer, could be built on Chinese code. And that is a big risk to Western dominance.
Yeah, so fascinating, Dee. And, obviously those other LLMs, and we talk so often about DeepSeek, but there are plenty of others behind them. But what about the fact that they conceivably are not able to get a hold of the highest end chips and so don't have the compute power that conceivably our AI giants do have?
It's a great question, and you're hitting on a report that came out yesterday that said that DeepSeek's much anticipated next model is being delayed because they can't get the equipment necessary. But I mean, we've seen this movie before, right, David? DeepSeek couldn't get the highest end GPUs in the first place, so they used, lower end ones, and they were able to create something that really captured the attention of the entire AI world. And it's not just DeepSeek anymore, right? It set off this wave, it really unleashed Chinese innovation, how you have companies like Zhipu, which may not be a DeepSeek by any means, but there's also TikTok, or ByteDance, there's also Alibaba, there's O1.ai. They're all working on open source models while we seem to be going in the other direction. And from the people I talk to in tech, this is an open source AI arms race. That is critical, more so than anything else. And like I said, you can't contain open source like you can GPUs or infrastructure.
All right, well, thanks for highlighting it. Another risk for us to worry about. Deirdre, thank you.